This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC. I have the pleasure of bringing two entrepreneurs to us on the connected fitness side that is going to continue to revolutionize how Pilates is provided across the world. We've got Yvette and Neal coming in from Reform RX. Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, pleasure. Great to be here.
So this is our second meeting. We met, I think, on the greenhouse or the rooftop of the London hotel.
That's right.
Which was a heated workout, and you have your final prototype done and commercializing the product. So, talk about Reform RX, when this idea started becoming a manufacturer and software provider, and then we're going to talk about the growth strategy after you tell us how entrepreneurial pursuits are not always coded in like an M&M.
Yeah, that's
if
right.
you like chocolate. So fire away. How did it start and why'd you do it?
Yeah, so we started, we've owned and operated Pilates studios for near on a decade in the UK. So we had our first two locations in Belfast in Northern Ireland, and then we opened a third in Edinburgh. And for us, it was really about, how can we roll out studios across the UK and dominate the space? And we were really self-critical at that point, going, well, what's innovative about a reformer at this point? How is AI going to, enhance and change our industry and grow this modality? So we embarked on the endeavor of creating our own reformer, and that's how RX was born. We met our amazing designer engineer, Austin Owens from Grove Design, and they're based deep in the English countryside. And we gave him a concept Formula One car from the future. And we said, how can we make a medieval torture device of a traditional reformer look like this? Mm-hmm. And we achieved it together after 4 years of extensive R&D. And then here today, we are, we're delivering product. We've been delivering product for a couple of months now, awesome. 5 iterations of our machine, and yeah, it's fantastic.
So from a standpoint of roles that each of you play, Neal, what's been your role in the rollout and build out, and how do you guys kind of interact and maybe separate work from work, and which
not
I
well.
think is zero.
Yeah.
I think it's
not well.
If someone's like, "Oh, I have a work-life balance," I'm like, "Good luck with that."
Yeah.
I just have work life. I don't have any balance to it. It's just work life. It's kind of like one word at this point.
Definitely trying to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, I think the biggest result is we're still married. We're still together, so that's the first achievement.
Breaking news. The Reform RX is out and the marriage has been solidified.
So
it's awesome, dude.
No, as Evie said, we ran the studios in the UK, and I think the Reformer came out initially from just listening to Yvette say that there's so much more that could be in the product itself. And so that set us off on that design journey. And so I got thick in the early design process with Austin. And then Evie came into the meetings when she could to really input, all the things she wanted to see. And really, strategy's been my biggest part of the company. Really looking at how we're gonna infiltrate what's there. So
as you kind of think about your go-to-market strategy, I brought this up before we got on the mic. A lot of connected fitness hardware companies during COVID. And if we were a fly in the room on like a venture capital firm that was funding one of these Peloton-like businesses, would probably say, hey, look, there's like 60 million people that pay like on average of $30-$40 a month. And that's like up for grabs. So let's go and get it. Whereas the connected fitness companies that said, hey, I could actually be a product and run a program inside of your club, like that should have been the entry point, and not necessarily become adversarial with the bricks and mortar. If you had a view that the bricks and mortar was going to survive post-COVID, which it obviously has. So talk about, when you're talking about your strategy and talking about going to market, I can go direct to consumer. I can sell one, Reformer X at a time, or I can maybe go and partner up with some studios and I can sell 15, and maybe I have a QR code where maybe they could become a distributor or an affiliate for me. So talk about that differential in business strategy.
Well, initially, as I said, it was for us independently having our USP of a reformer that we could roll out in new locations. And now that we had the COVID at-home boom, and thankfully, since we had a commercial grade product, now it's about, we can put this in studios all around the world and they can give metrics to their customer for the very first time. No reformer has ever been able to do this, to track them, the carriage movement, the springs that integrate. And so, yeah, we just want to, it's about letting people know we exist is our biggest challenge. The reformer speaks for itself. The quality when you get on it, how smooth it is, it's the Porsche of Pilates. So yeah, it's about how we get the word out there quick enough. This is our first expo. More of this. We have a fantastic digital marketing company who've been with us since the start. Shout out to Rain Factory. So a combination of that. And then the word of mouth from our at-home customers. We really, we had a massive first quarter when we launched, and the feedback from those first deliveries have been phenomenal. People are using it. I think one customer had like 36 classes in her first, what was it, 2 weeks, Evie?
Yeah.
36 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe I'll be a super user.
I don't know. Does she sleep? But yeah, so this is the fun bit, right? The fun bit now is spreading the word. So
yeah, we also we're
Thankfully, you're not a tanning company. Be like, oh yeah, there's a woman in there 36 hours in the first 2 weeks.
yeah, more is good.
Turn into a raisin.
Yeah, more is good for us.
Yeah.
And because it obviously hits the whole musculoskeletal system. It's the most amazing workout. So yeah, and we're opening our first actual studio as well in Corona Del Mar. So it's
oh nice.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was coming.
It opens in countdown actually 7 days. So
oh wow.
Do you know,
it's very exciting.
The real way to say it was that's the Pete Moore podcast exclusive.
That's breaking
so
news. We got to get this podcast out quick. 7 days.
So yeah.
So how many Reform RX machines are going to be in that?
Yeah, we have 5. So we have 5 reformers so coming in, very, boutique experience, but getting to see
And how big is the space that it's only 5?
Well, actually, in the back of the space, Pete, that is our new filming location. So obviously a lot of our amazing instructors are US-based, and they have been flying out to Ireland for the last year and a half filming content. So now we'll be having you can come in, take class, and also see where the magic happens. So it's really exciting. Yeah.
Is it part of the 5 reformers, part Reform RX? Are they part of the digital, or are there 2 separate rooms?
So it's an open space, but it's essentially like broken up into the back spaces where the filming is, and you can see the digital connectivity. Like Neil said, it's seeing it in that commercial space and how you can take away those metrics and that data.
Gotcha. So when you take a look at what do you want to be in a year or 2 from now, you're at this show here, so you've got a lot of groups that have understood that Pilates during COVID and post-COVID is probably one of the top modalities. From one, people feeling safe because they're on their own machine. They're not switching. It's pretty easy to clean it. You're automatically socially distanced. And I think the price point in Pilates has always been maintained. Nobody's doing like a high volume, low price Pilates concept. Maybe it could be a good idea, but probably not.
I don't know if it would last very long. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't last very long. But the point is that this category has probably been the most COVID resilient and is going to continue to grow. And then to your point, and I had a question related to like the use of the RX letters. There's a lot of people that view Pilates as a way to, either from a preventative health standpoint, as you get older and build your strength in your core, you're probably less likely to fall down or injure other parts of your body. So how important is Reform RX, and like what is your view on like the healthcare or preventative health trajectory into Pilates as a modality? Now I'm going to stop talking.
Well, that was a great question, though, Pete.
I think there's a question in there somewhere. But feel free to unbundle it or rebundle it.
I'll find it. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we've had some great conversations even today, just around the aging population situation where we will infiltrate and come into. Obviously, physiotherapists. And so many places. I mean, I know that's definitely very close to your heart, Neil, is having it in elderly care homes, and this entry point. It was about making it less intimidating as well. So back to that concept Formula One car, but it's not. It definitely still has pulleys and ropes, but just the aesthetic And the usage, it is so user-friendly. And obviously with that integration, we custom built our software from scratch. And so having that user journey that they can go on into the how-to section and, find what they're looking for, breaking down exercises so they can, the building blocks to build that, musculoskeletal strength, also like improve proprioception, it's, your balance and your, stability when you age, and that all comes from core and balance exercises as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, we're a Pilates company that has brought digital connectivity. We don't see ourselves as a connected fitness company that has Pilates as an offering.
Right.
We're not a reaction to COVID. We've been designing this since 2018 because we love Pilates. We love their studios, and we know the customer. We know who our target customer is, and we understand why this is a booming market and why it's only getting bigger and bigger year on year.
So when you, just for the entrepreneurs, not just for the entrepreneurs that are listening, you built the product, you're commercializing it now. Obviously, at some point you probably said like, we're the Peloton of Pilates, until like that wasn't a good analogy because nobody wants to be the Peloton of anything, right? So how did you, and also being a married couple is probably got its own, that's another podcast in and of itself. But how did you kind of handle emotionally the roller coaster, and how have you kind of looked at, to your point of like, look, we're going down this road. I know it's going to rain tomorrow, and I know there's going to be a thunderstorm. And I know like seasonally things happen. There's going to be a tsunami that hits somewhere in the world, right? It's not going to be pleasant. But I know that if I just keep going down this path, there's an outcome that I've already kind of validated in a number of different ways. I just have to get there. So how do you kind of think through your patience, your progress, and how you keep yourself positive?
We've got a reset, and I'm going to say it's more Evie than me, but in the tough moments, Evie always goes and jumps onto the machine and does a workout, and when she comes off, she's like, it just resets the mind to remember how amazing this machine is.
Yeah.
And then everything feels okay. And it's not just about, I don't mean about just going and doing a workout because you always feel better after exercise. I mean more just in the thick of all the problems, the inevitable problems, you jump back in the machine, you go, yeah, there's a reason that this is booming, and
Yeah, it just reaffirms that vision of like, this is what we started with, and understanding, the world of manufacturing, supply chain issues, and then obviously just software, devs, development. And then we're also a media company, so we're filming and content and teams, and it's definitely comes back to like the why and why we wanted to, but. I guess as a couple as well, like it's not really like there's a switch off point, it's 24/7. Like
sure.
there's the evenings, and it's still that work and that craft. But
and
understanding that.
How many employees do you have in the company?
Small. So we've got 4 direct employees, and the rest of our team's outsourced.
That's great.
But shout out to the outsourced teams. All of those guys are part of the team. We don't really think of it as how many employees we have directly.
I think that's the way to think about it. As you kind of look back, and just for the entrepreneurs that are listening here, if you were to give advice to your prior self, 4 years ago or whenever you built like the first prototype, what kind of advice would you give to your younger self, and like to at least kind of prepare you for what was ahead?
Resilience, I think. Yeah, you learn the resilience and your strength and of your character, and also when things come back and kind of going, right, how can we do that better? It's not about blaming this or that or the situation, because it just comes back to like, right, troubleshoot, how do we get through this next problem? For me, it would be resilience.
I think, make sure you love the product, make sure you enjoy what you do, and ask for help. I think, and when you ask people for help, more times than not, people will help you.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid,
I find that in this industry, probably more than other industries, I feel like there is a desire for people to want other people to succeed, even if they're like pseudo, I wouldn't say competitive, head-on competitors, but look, if you're doing something positive, it's hard to root against somebody who's trying to create an awesome product for people to feel good and live a healthier lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So I find the information sharing actually more apt in this industry than some other industries I've worked in, which is a big positive.
And what's the worst going to happen if they're a dickhead and they say, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to... Can I say that on? Sorry.
Dickhead, yeah.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say it 3 times, though.
Oh, okay.
Just say it one more time.
When they, if they're
They're going to be a dickhead, yeah.
somebody says no, then whatever.
Yeah.
Don't concentrate on the negatives, concentrate
Get
on
a
the
thicker
positives.
skin.
So,
Yeah,
But yeah, just
exactly.
enjoy it.
I realized I use this like win-loss calendar, and I think after a certain age, you think like you're gonna win every day, and
Right.
you realize like you're not.
No.
And like if you could say, okay, I went 5-2, or I keep these calendars 5-2, or like 4-3, and even every day, it's like, oh, what happened today? 3 wins and 1 loss, and then I'm like all upset about the 1 loss. It's like, yeah, but I won 3 games. It's almost like as an entrepreneur, you have to celebrate the wins, or else you just think that it's always raining out, and
I
it's
think,
like, fuck, where am I going from here?
Totally.
How did I get here?
Listened to a podcast recently, and it's like optimistic bias, and I'm like, I definitely have that. I think Neal has that. It's like just see the optimistic side of things, because if you go down that negative train, then you'll get off.
It's interesting you say that, because I've got a couple of friends that they're just so pessimistic about anything. They could never be an entrepreneur. Like they would not get out of the gate.
No.
Because they convince themselves that this is not going to work. And you have to always be glass half full, and you have to have the perseverance and the resilience to get through. And things that, I started using this term HALO for Halo Talk, Health, Active, Lifestyle, Outdoors. I started using it 6 years ago. Now people are finally using it, but it took 6 years. And my mom's like, oh, is that a good use of your time? You really have to like change the name of the industry. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. Like it's done. I'm happening.
Totally.
And I think as well, we tell our team, fail often. We want you to fail. We want you to keep taking risks and making mistakes, and just don't make big mistakes, right?
Exactly.
Not an epic.
And don't fall off the Reform RX on a make sure you're on settled ground before you do anything with the
exactly
machine.
Right. So
no tricks. This isn't like one of those BMX bikes. You can do tricks off the Reformer. But in closing here, if I'm a large health club chain, I am a big franchisor, and I'm interested in optimizing my Pilates. Tell me how many Pilates machines should I get from you? What kind of programming comes with it, and give me like a 60-second pitch to close out our part 1 of our episode together.
Definitely. Well, we have 100+ class library of content, and in terms of the space, I mean, it's fantastic in multi-purpose spaces. So it could be on a gym floor, it could be in a dedicated studio environment. People can come in and use it independently, have their headphones on for a completely immersive experience, or cast to a TV, which is fantastic. So you can have multiple people executing at the same time. Or if it's in a studio environment where you don't want to have it led through the tablet, then we offer also without the tablet, where you can link QR code and have your users take away their metrics, which is amazing. So they can use it in all these different situations and facets, and get this elevated experience of improved hardware, more functionality and biometric feedback.
That's awesome. Any other closing comments here for our?
This is the differentiating product in your gym or health club or health club. This is the thing that's going to stand you out from your competitors. And for boutique Pilates studio owners, bring metrics to your users for the first time. Let them scan the QR code and take away what they've done in your class.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys got this far.
Thank you.
There was a quote that another guy gave me. He's like, "Have you come this far to come this far?" And it's like basically, I'm going to keep going. So keep going. Congrats on the rollout. I know it's been a lot of work. Make this a case study for other entrepreneurs, and I think you're hitting the market at the right time, the right place, where the Pilates as a modality, connected fitness, people understand it. The fact that you're going commercial and not consumer, I think, has a lot of benefit and brand equity to it, that you're not trying to steal somebody's customer. I'm trying to actually help you, more people getting this type of experience. So
thank you so much.
Great
for
to
having
have
us
you on. You are now officially part of the Halo sector. So wave your Halo flag, and hopefully it will be helpful to you guys as you continue to grow.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you for your
having
support.
us.
Good to see you.